There's no secret formula for better service throughout the customer journey. But there is the all-new Service Hub from HubSpot. It makes it infinitely easier to scale customer support and increase retention. By bringing service and support together in one powerful platform, you can deliver the best experiences for your customers and your teams. Free up time for your reps to focus on complex issues with an AI-powered help desk. Proactively drive retention with customer health scores that help keep your business ahead, stopping churn in its tracks. And give your entire go-to-market team the data they need to operate as one unified, powerful front. Also, you can easily support, strengthen, and grow your customer base. Secrets out. HubSpot Service Hub is a game changer. Visit HubSpot.com/service to do more for your customers today.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday, May 21st. I'm John Weigell here with Ben Berkley, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. OpenAI continues to race ahead of its competitors at full speed. The recent release of GPT-4o has changed the AI field and also provided OpenAI with the biggest spike in Chat-GPT's ad revenue ever. On the other hand, the company is also seeing some high-level exits and changes that begs the question, are they hastily rushing out new inventions without a deep consideration of user safety? We'll get to that in a bit, but first let's give you the hits and headlines in business and tech. First, starting us off here, Target is set to reduce the price on 5,000 of its most popular items, mostly grocery and household products, to keep its budget-conscious shoppers happy. Ben, what do you think's going on here?
I mean, Target is definitely starting a pricing war with Walmart here. This reduction hits a lot of key categories, all the major food groups. So, we're talking milk, bread, meat, soda, yogurt, peanut butter, coffee. Yeah, I think that's the FDA's approved list. And then also, everything from like diapers, paper towels, pet food. This is their move to try to compete with both Walmart and, the likes of, say, Costco. Sure. And I will say, if this move prompts Walmart to drop prices on their own, I can't imagine anyone's going to complain about that a whole lot.
No, I mean, it could also be a ploy to just get people to come to the store in general, given that, you could order anything on Amazon, it's their same day.
True.
So, I mean, this could be just a ploy for in-person shopping to make a bit of a comeback. I know the Target in my neighborhood desperately needs it because, man, they got rid of self-checkout a little while ago and the line is way throughout the store. It's horrendous. So They need some more interest. Next, the U.S. is not on board with the G20's proposed global wealth tax on billionaires, which would create a coordinated effort to stop ultra-wealthy folks from moving wealth to low-tax shores. Speaking of shores, Red Lobster, which has 578 restaurants and sees 64 million customers a year, just filed for bankruptcy. The company will be sold to lenders to recover from $1 billion in debt with less than $30 million in cash. And Ben, that is a lot of shrimp.
Yeah, the takeaway here is if you can't imagine life without Red Lobster, you don't have to worry too much just yet. They're going to close a couple more stores here, but at least temporarily speaking, as of last week, there were only 90 or so closed and still 540 of them open. So if you're like a real biscuit freak and you're like worried that your Cheddar Bay biscuit days are numbered, the chain is in trouble, but it isn't fully dead. That said, it has had 5 CEOs in 5 years, so maybe keep your hopes in check.
Yeah, it's not doing great. It's seeing quite a large reduction of restaurants, but there's no word on it going away completely yet. I identify as biscuit baddie, so I appreciate that. Next, Hims & Hers, which grew by undercutting Big Pharma on generic knockoffs of Viagra and Rogaine, is back at it with a Wegovy dupe that's 85% cheaper than the name brand weight loss drug. And finally, Era, a prominent British engineering firm that helped build the Sydney Opera House and Apple's HQ, was scammed out of $25.6 million after a finance worker who was invited to a video call with a deep fake dupe of the CFO. Okay, this is a pretty crazy thing. Are we going to have to start worrying about this?
I feel like life in this era is just a series of progressively louder uh-ohs. And this one feels kind of loud. The fact that it wasn't just a CFO here, there were allegedly multiple team members who were in on this call. And by multiple team members, I mean digital approximations of those team members. And, I so badly want to believe that I would know if my colleagues' voices and faces were not actually theirs. But, one, these tools are getting better. Two, my eyesight sucks. And so ultimately, I guess I'm just really glad that we don't have $25 million just sitting around, because I would probably send it away.
Yeah, I'd probably lose it. I mean, I could be deep faking you right now and no one would know.
I was kind of wondering.
All right, moving on to our big story today. And our big story surrounds the company of the moment, which is OpenAI. With the release of GPT-4o, OpenAI seems rather unstoppable as they're raking in incredible app revenue and enjoying their post at the helm of the AI industry. But there are some safety concerns around their behavior as of late. So, Ben, first of all, how well has GPT-4o done for OpenAI so far?
It has done really well. Since they launched this new product, they basically doubled their daily mobile app revenue. They were averaging just under 500K, and they got up to about 900K on Tuesday. So this has some heat behind it. And, I think that there's a really great demo to blame here. It was one of those things where when you saw them really run through this multimodal program and showing it solving equations by picture and live translating pretty effectively and doing its like Scarlett Johansson impression, which they've since now rolled back a little bit. It was a really good looking product and people are flocking to it.
Yeah. And, people who are listening may be thinking, but wait, didn't they say Chat-GPT 4o would be available for free and there would be a free tier of the service? And there is. It's on the web version. However, in app, they're largely pushing people to upgrade to Chat-GPT Plus, which is $20 a month. And it seems like they have gotten quite a lot of people to do that.
Yeah. The thing is, they're really good at this. They've modeled it out so well. You would expect this of a company that has become the thing. Like if people say they're going to Chat-GPT it, even if they're going to use another chatbot, they're kind of doing the Google thing or the Kleenex thing. And so, it's best not to doubt them.
Yeah. The most interesting part about this to me is, of course, like the revenue is spiked a great deal. But the reason that OpenAI was founded largely in 2015 was to take the power away from entities like Google in the field that were for-profit companies. And OpenAI in 2015 was originally viewed as a nonprofit organization that was a trustworthy source for AI and AI creation. But it seems lately that some people have started leaving the company, higher ups, because that vision has seemingly skewed a bit.
Yeah, we're seeing the turning point, obviously not just into this new model and its profitability and all these good things. Last week, the loss of two executives, and not just two executives, their entire super alignment team, which is their team that, is there to foresee and prevent disaster from AI getting too far ahead of us. That team's disbanded now. And so we've seen from the Altman ousting earlier and just a lot of internal struggles. This has been central to the OpenAI story. It feels like profit won, moving fast won. Mm-hmm. Who would have guessed in today's world that would be the case? But just seeing that team no longer exists, they say that it's work that's going to continue in some form and safety really matters and, all the typical platitudes you'd expect. But when your two most prominent critics are out the door and that team that they were running specifically for this is gone, I don't know if safety is really the top thing here.
Right. It doesn't seem like it's paramount. And especially when you consider what the super alignment team was set to do, which is probably the most sci-fi explanation for a team at any company, which was ensuring that artificial general intelligence doesn't destroy humankind, which is such a crazy thing to apply for in a job, let alone have at your company. But obviously needed. And that whole team is gone. Sam Altman said that the work has been distributed to the rest of the company, but it still really begs the question of, are they rushing out these AI products like GPT-4o instead of sitting with them and making sure that they're safe for users everywhere, which I'm sure they are to some extent, but clearly not as much as before, it seems.
Yeah, I guess we should also note maybe they weren't before. Like this is something that's like more of an externally facing thing now, but something that Jan Leike, who was one of the resignations, he had said was that they were sailing against the wind and he's kind of having a hard time getting resources. I think his direct quote here is, AI is shouldering an enormous responsibility on behalf of all humanity, but over the past years, safety culture and processes have taken a backseat to shiny products, which is about as damning as you can go without, losing your potential to get work in the future. It just kind of suggests that fight has been lost for a while.
Yeah, seems like it. And, we could even go back to the end of last year when Sam Altman was kicked out of OpenAI and then came back from Microsoft. I mean, at the reports at the time, it was due to some friction that he was trying to get more aggressive with the AI and the engineers were not. So it seems like those concerns kind of bubbled over. And now, mid 2024 almost, we're seeing them display themselves.
Yeah. And, at the end of the day, follow the money. This is an organization that was structured as a nonprofit. It has been reorganized. It has raised tens of billions of dollars. It has a responsibility to those investors. And also, it's existing in a pretty expensive space, AI. Like, this is just a hard thing to develop. And so it takes that money. And, I think that was probably always going to win. And it just feels like this is the turning point. Like, this is where we know that safety is talked about, but I think we can say really reasonably now it is not prioritized.
Right. And they're, of course, beholden to these investors, but would like to see them beholden to making sure that, AI doesn't take over humankind, that whole thing.
It's ultimately like we're really blowing it up here. It's like, what's the worst case scenario? Humanity stops existing, whatever.
Whatever, no big deal.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of the HubSpot Podcast Network. Our editor today is Robert Hartwig, and our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a lot more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go get yourself signed up at thehustle.co/email, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Hey everybody, I got a great podcast to tell you about. It's called Truth, Lies, and Work, and it's brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. On this show, you can join husband and wife team Al and Leanne Elliott as they dispel myths, impart wisdom, and answer all your questions about finding, keeping, and motivating great people. They actually just did an episode with John Smith, who is the manager and agent of famous Argentinian soccer player Diego Maradona. He talks about in this episode how he was able to manage the global superstar, athlete, celebrity that Maradona is and was. It's a great listen. You better get out there and check it out. And you can listen to Truth, Lies, and Work wherever you get your podcasts.